Well, hello, brothers and sisters. I feel like this is food for the journey. It's not. I'm speaking to you today as we continue to deal with the virus and the plague and the difficulties that we're enduring. I just want you to know that we're right here and praying for you. As I hope people are praying for me. We all need to pray. Brothers and sisters, this is not outside God's plan. God allows this. Sometimes He allows it, hoping that the fruit will be that we will draw closer to Him. Are you? Or are you blaming God for this? Brothers and sisters, see this, however difficult it is, and believe me, it's difficult, but see this as an opportunity for you to draw closer and closer to God. How do we do that? Well, could you, if husband and wife are together in the house, or some people are caring for small children, whatever, could you find at least 15 minutes for your husband and for yourself, or for whoever is living in your house and caring for children, perhaps? Could you give at least 15 minutes where you could go into your room and just say, Lord, here I am. I'm poor. I'm weak. I've made mistakes. But Lord, I want to follow you, and I want to follow you more closely. Brothers and sisters, we can turn this into an opportunity. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the whole nation could turn more toward the Lord, because He loves us. And what He's allowing in our lives right now is to bring Him closer to us, and we closer to Him. He really knows you. He knows all about you. And He loves you. Now, don't go off on some big, manufactured program to change your life. Just take one little thing right now. One thing that's an obstacle, or can be an obstacle in your relationship with God. Just take one thing and say, Lord, will you help me to change this in my life? Because God will hear your every cry. He'll hear your every prayer. He knows you're not alone. I've been thinking these last weeks here where we're all kind of cornered, but I've been thinking about my own father and how marvelous he was. He was a hard worker. He owned a gas station, grocery store combination right next to our house. And you say, oh, well then that's easy. He could be right there. No, he was really bombarded because he was doing much of it himself until later years he got some help. But he did it all himself, and he made it work for this family. Well, one day, like many days, I hopped over to the garage, poked my head in. I was about, 8, 9 years old. Kind of poked my head in to see what was going on, whether he was under a car or whether he was dealing with a customer. And I saw that he was very busy. So I turned around to walk back over the yard, and what did I do? I was in my bare feet. And what did I do? But I stepped on a hornet's nest in the ground. I have bare feet. And I don't know how many stingers I had in my foot, but it was painful. And I hobbled over to the porch and I sat down, and I just didn't know quite what to do. My mother was out doing an errand. She wasn't there right at that moment. So I went, hobbled back over to the garage and said, "Dad, I know you're busy, can you help me?" And he came over and he looked at my foot and he said, "All right, you sit down there on the porch step and I'll be right back." So he went over and dealt with what he needed to deal with, and then he came back with a pair of pliers. And he sat me down in front of him and he said, "Now give me your foot." And I thought, "Oh, Dad, I was just," but I knew I could trust him, but I was still afraid, and I lifted my foot and I said, "Lord." And then I looked at my dad and said, "Dad, help me." He said, "I will, I'm right here." And then he began to pull out each of the stingers that were in my foot. After that, he brought me into the house and he put on, I don't know what kind of medication he put on my foot, but he just did it all over. And then he said, "Now, you're going to be just fine." And I, at that time, was still in a position of, "Oh God, don't let him touch me." But he did it, and he did it quickly, probably 5 or 6 of them. And it hurt. But my Father was with me. And oftentimes I remember that situation and many others. He is with me. And our God is with us. He knows every single thing that happens to you. I was blessed to have a very good earthly father. Not lavish, it's hard work. He was a very good father. You have a Father in heaven who knows it when you cut your hand or you hurt your arm or your leg. He knows. He knows all the struggles we go through in relationships. He knows everything about us. And brothers and sisters, he often uses those precise things to draw us closer to him. So what I want to say to you today is take everything that happens to you that seems like an obstacle, and don't get all bent out of shape and worried or angry. Just take the situation, bring it to the Lord, and just say, "Lord, show me what to do. Help me." God is very good. He is a real Father. And even if your father was not good to you, or is not able to care for you, your Heavenly Father is right here. He doesn't take a place of our Father. Our Father can't take his place either. But you always have a Heavenly Father. And blessed be God that I and many others have a very good earthly Father. I will never stop counting my blessings for that. It was not easy sometimes, and he could discipline me, but he would sit with me for hours doing my homework some days. He would be there, even though he had spent a long day working. He would sit down for 15 or 20 minutes, see what I was doing, and offered any advice he could give me. I was so blessed. But I'm sharing that with you, not because I want to gloat about it, but because I want to say I had an image of God my Father, and I know that God my Father is watching me and you right at this very moment. So as I said, bring him your needs. Don't just say, "Well, what am I going to do?" Or get angry, really angry with somebody. Go to God first. Go to your Father who is in heaven and ask him. Because these are tension-filled times. And we often just get annoyed or angry or frightened about something, and we say things that we wouldn't normally say, or we do things we wouldn't normally do. Bring them to your Father. He understands your anxiety. He understands the pain. Perhaps soon we will be free of this coronavirus. But brothers and sisters, what have we learned from it? What have we gained from it? Do we just think of tension and difficulties or challenge? But what has God done in us, in our spirits, as we bring him our difficulties? Do we trust him more? Are we more confident in him? Can we help to bring joy and peace to others, even in the midst of these difficult times? And they are difficult. Oh, brothers and sisters, I really want to ask you, it's such an opportunity right now to see God your Father as your Father and my Father. This is not abstract. It's real. May God abundantly bless you. May he lead you. May he guide you. And may he bless you. Until I'm on Food for the Journey again, take care. Brothers and sisters, every day I bring you before the Lord. Every day I ask him to care for you. And I know that he will. Unite your prayers with mine. Help me, Lord. Show me the way to go here. Instead of just reacting, just pause. And I bring you count on that I bring you before the Lord every day, that he may give you strength and wisdom and lead you closer and closer to himself and with all whom you love.